guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm trying something very different from everything that I've done. Shout out to Zetu for having suggested this. Brilliant idea. I do get a bit one-track minded when it comes to the ideas for this channel, and I really appreciate ideas that I get from the people who are currently watching. We're not making any food today. We are going to be reviewing or sharing my favorite kitchen utensils that I feel every kitchen should have, and I will explain why they're so important. And you find that most of these items are actually quite affordable. I don't want to waste any more time. I want this video to be quite short and sharp. So these are Kholiwe's 10 tools that you need for the kitchen. The first tool I'd like to talk about is the humble tong. These are pretty nifty tools for the kitchen. I love these. If you follow me on Instagram at Kholiwe_cooks, you would have seen I had a bit of a rant a while ago about the tongs that I bought that were quite useless, because when I bought those, I didn't really know what to look for. I knew I needed them, but I did not know what to look for in a perfect pair of tongs. So I'll put these aside. These are the ones I prefer, of course, and I will show you what I ran into. I don't remember where I bought this. It might have been in China Mall or China City. I love a good bargain, so a lot of times I'll see something more expensive somewhere else and I'll think, oh, I can get this somewhere else. And so I ventured out looking for these, but I came home with these and I was so happy. Oh my gosh, 3 pairs, different sizes. I'll do all sorts of things with these. Little did I know how useless these are. First of all, it's plastic and it looks like it's, I don't know, hard enough to be able to handle things. But I would grab things with these and they will fall right back into the pot. And I think, obviously I'm using it for hot things, I'm cooking with it. It would get even less strong as I continue doing whatever I'm doing. So imagine you trying to pick up a steak, or actually a steak is better because it won't disintegrate. Imagine you picking up a piece of hake. They don't have any tension at the back, and I think that's the biggest problem I have with them. So I'm not gonna, get into detail with these. I just wanted to show you what to stay away from when you are buying a pair of tongs. I'm gonna throw this away and come back to this. This has so much tension at the back, and so it is literally so strong. I can pick up anything using these, and I decided to get the ones with the little silicone top because I have non-stick pans and that sort of thing. I don't want to scrape them when I'm picking up things or working with them, so I just thought those were beautiful and perfect for me. How you know that your tongs will have enough tension for whatever you're trying to do is they'll have this little spring at the back here. I bought these at Mr. Price Home, and if I am not mistaken, I paid 49 Rand for them. So imagine 49 Rand. You don't need to spend that much, but you do need to know what to look for. The second tool I would like to talk about is the chef's knife. So my knife has seen it all. I've had this for a while now, and you will not believe what I paid for it. I think I paid 69 Rand at Game for this, but it was a while back, maybe 3-4 years back. But that tells you that you don't have to break the bank to get a decent chef's knife. These are so important in the kitchen. I promise you, you use these for basically everything. Well, I do, because it's me. But chopping will never be the same again if you get yourself a chef's knife. It takes away so much hassle from cutting onions. And you'd notice this when you forget your knife or something like that and you have to cook in someone else's house. I used to struggle so much because we used to use these tiny knives, like paring knives, for chopping, and you would be there with this onion, just struggling. Obviously it was quite futile and didn't work out as well. But when you have the right tool in hand, you can do anything. You can learn any technique because you are using the right knife. And so a chef's knife is a definite go for me. I am not discrediting the really good chef's knives that are out there that are more expensive and are from very well-known brands. Not at all. But it's just to say that if you can't afford those, do not get it because you're thinking, oh, I'm waiting to get that. For instance, I've got this because that's what I can afford right now. But I do feel that if I think I'm in a good place financially, I'm definitely getting myself like a global set of knives, and the chef's knife is just everything that I love in a knife, and I would definitely get myself one of those. If you can afford it, check out Global Knives online. They are stunning. They are so good. The kind of knives that last you a lifetime, literally. Number 3 on our list are brushes, culinary brushes or kitchen brushes. So I did a bit of research because I wanted to see what the difference was between a basting brush and a pastry. A basting brush and a pastry brush. A basting brush and a pastry brush. I did that on purpose because it all depends on what you've decided to use the brush for. Either way, these babies are really important. You don't have to have both, you can just have one, and for me, they both serve the purposes of basting and for pastry. When I searched for pastry brushes, this one was the one that came up the most, the one with the bristles that look like it's a painting brush. This came up a lot as a pastry brush, and so because this is what I mostly needed a brush for in my uses in the kitchen, this is the first one I bought for myself. Now, I struggled a bit with this, and I'll tell you what my struggles were. Firstly, it has the steel at the back, and the color of the steel has started running into the wood. So for me, that already seemed dodgy, that this is something I use for my food and there's an issue with the metal, color coming off. Something else I'm struggling with is that these bristles come off quite easily. So sometimes I'll be brushing my puff pastry or whatever with butter or with the egg wash, and then I'll see a bristle across the top of the pastry I'm working with. So I didn't really like that. Also, another thing is if you're working with butter, it's bound to, what is the word for it? Coagulate, I think. Basically it becomes hard, and so imagine these fine bristles with butter in between and it getting hard like that, right? So then the cleaning of this became a problem. I mean, it's possible that it harbors a lot of bacteria because it's so hard to clean between the bristles in the middle and that sort of thing. And so I decided to buy another. So I still have this because it does work well with certain things, like if I'm doing egg wash on some pastry, this actually works better, right? So I keep it around, but with most of the functions that I need a brush for in my kitchen, I tend to use this one. So this is the one I bought later, and I got this at Mr. Price Home, and I paid 39 or 49 rand there for this as well. This one has the silicone little bristles, and as you can see, the bristles aren't as fine as the ones that I've just shown you of the other brush. So when I did a search on basting brushes, this is the one that mostly came up. So people use it mostly for basting, but honestly, people use it interchangeably, and I think you should do as well. So if I had to recommend one from the other, I would definitely say get this one because it's easier to clean. As you can see, you can get right in there when cleaning it up, especially for butter and that sort of thing. So this is another very important one. So a lot of people will not agree with my number 4, but I don't know. I grew up in a household where we used these a lot, and I just think, why suffer if you can get the right utensil to do something? That is the masher. I use a masher a lot, obviously to make mash and mash everything, smash. In fact, even when I'm making smashed baby potatoes, I use this with a little bit of pressure, and it makes the potato flat and doesn't go all the way through. Look, this is so useful. If you have tried to mash, do mash for like, I don't know, 5 or more people, you will know that it's a bit of a mission doing it with a fork or whatever else you've been using. And now I don't remember how much it was, but I'm pretty sure it's around 30-40 rand at Checkers, Pick n Pay, or wherever you can find these sorts of things. I'm just used to it. I grew up using it, and so for me it didn't make sense not to have it in my house when I started staying alone. Number 5 on our list of very important utensils for your kitchen is a can opener and a bottle opener. Look, I made these one because for me they serve the same kind of purpose. They open things, open cans, open bottles. So I will start with the most important one, and if you would guess what it is the wine opener. Now I use this very simple one, and it's such a gem. I've had this for definitely over 10 years. So first things first, it has this little hook over here, which is what we use to open bottles, beer, cider, what have you. This opens the bottle tops very easily. It's so nice and small. I just love this. I don't like the huge ones for some reason. Secondly, another reason I love this is this has a little blade at the back. So it's tucked in like that, like an okapi, and then you open it up. There, right? And it's serrated. If you can see there at the bottom, yes, right? So what you use this for is when opening a bottle of wine. You know the top, you cut that off first before getting to the cork. It means you have a much cleaner job with your wine. If you wanna open a bottle of wine like a pro, you definitely have to get rid of the top first. Don't do that thing of going straight in with the cork, guys. Please do not do that. Like, just get rid of the top first. It's so much cleaner, and it makes sure that when you pour it, wine never runs into whatever, like falls off. It only goes into the glass, and we don't want to waste wine. So then obviously it has the corkscrew bit, and it has 2 notches. All I'm saying is this is the simplest corkscrew you'll ever use in your life. And with the can opener, this is the girl she thinks she is. Love it, love it, love it. Also very affordable. Got this from Checkers. Look, I won't remember the price, let me not lie to you, but what I'm gonna try and do is find these things online before posting my video, and maybe I can have them, you know, over the top here so you can see exactly how much it is, and if you don't have it, you know exactly what you get, a type of thing. So this can opener has this little thing here. This goes into the can like this. So you grab the can and you start twisting. And literally twist, twist, twist. As you twist, it's going around the can for you. Like, none of this struggling thing. I mean, I've gone to a couple of households where people are just like, oh, we don't need a can opener, we've got knives. First of all, if you ever want to buy yourself a proper set of knives, you don't want to ruin it by opening cans with it. There are utensils for that. So get yourself a can opener, a decent one. Number 6 on my list of very important things to have in the kitchen is the whisk. Not an electric one, a actual hand whisk. Let me tell you what I use a whisk for. I use a whisk for scrambling my eggs instead of using a fork. But honestly, that's the most basic thing it can do. It can do so much more. You can make whipped cream using this. Of course, it's going to be a lot of arm work, but it'll get you there. When I think about a whisk, I think anything that can easily get lumps in it, bring on a whisk. Literally anything. If you're making morning porridge and you always struggle with lumps, you will notice it makes your life so much easier. When I make good old custard, like the one from Moyer's, that powder that you make into a custard, and I love to eat warm, you use a whisk, because you know that can get lumps very easily. So I use my whisk and it comes out perfect. In fact, it even aerates it a little, so it's even better. Obviously, whisking egg whites for making meringue and pavlova, you've got this, girl. These other things that I've mentioned, especially the ones that are related to baking, can obviously work better if you have an electric mixer. But if you don't have that, you will never get the correct results if you don't have a whisk, if you're using forks or anything like that. So whisk is really helpful, especially if you like baking and that sort of thing. I would definitely recommend getting one of these. Yeah, I think this one was like 70 rand. Also at Checkers. I mean, I'm doing my groceries and then I come across really useful things, so I get them there. So a lot of people struggle with making a white sauce, a roux, and that sort of thing. If you've got a whisk at the stage of introducing milk to your flour, it makes a world of difference. And you could never make a roux using an electric mixer, hence you still need this even if you do have an electric mixer. Number 7, guys, we are talking sieves. Now, I'm showing you those two because these two are my favorites. I will start with this one. This one is mostly used in pastry related things. For instance, if I am making a cake, as you know, you have to sift your ingredients. That helps you a lot with how fluffy your cake turns out at the end. When I'm garnishing desserts and I want to have icing sugar on the top, so I pour it on here and then I go all over the dessert and it dusts it nicely and evenly throughout the dish. Also, for savory dishes, I still use this. For example, if I'm making my own stock and now I'm getting rid of all the herbs, then we have a colander. Now, there are different ones. I have a plastic one. There are all these nice fancy ones, rose gold ones, stainless steel ones. Point is, a colander is very important if you are a person who makes rice a lot, you make pastas a lot. But an additional thing that I use these babies for is to wash my vegetables and fruits, because I wash them in the open tap right in here, and already the water is getting drained at the bottom. And because it has bigger holes at the bottom, if the vegetable or the fruit is soiled, then the soil escapes that way as well. So I find it really helpful. And after having washed it in here, I can leave it in the colander for a few minutes or even up to however long. That works especially well for salad leaves. So I'll have my rocket in here, my baby spinach, whatever, wash it and then put it aside. By the time I need to make my salad, it's not dripping wet of water first of all, and it's just nice and dry and clean. I think I'm sharing a bit too much information because I wanted this to be quite short, but I just think these things are really useful and I hope you find them quite useful as well. Number 8 is a rolling pin. Now you have many different kinds of rolling pins, but most of the time they are wooden. So I've got this old school one and it works really well, guys. If you're making from anything, from like pizzas to rotis to even pasta, this can help you get a pretty nice even size on a pasta. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain this any further really. It's really helpful. I know I used to, oh my god guys, I used to be in the ghetto. I used to use cling wrap. So you know how cling wrap is shaped like this? So I would take the cling wrap thing and I'll start rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling using that. And obviously I would have to peel off the top bit that has been dirtied by my job. But honestly, I just found, why am I struggling if I can buy the thing? And I use this a lot. We are on our second last one. This is the 9th tool that I am so happy I have in my kitchen. Those who have been following me for a while, or even very recently, you would know I was always complaining about not having these babies. And that's because I love having sunny side up eggs, and then they would always turn out like oval, right? And I love me some food aesthetics. And I'm just like, oh, you know, it would ruin my plates. And so I ventured out to get these. But since getting them, I found so many uses for them. One of those uses is if you're plating and you want maybe a little round nyana for your rice or for whatever, even sauces. Like if you want to shape your sauces in your plate when you're plating, you can have this there and then pour the sauce and then it'll be round. Can you imagine? Like, it's limitless. If you want to cut cookies or whatever, I would use this. Like, I like multi-purpose things for the kitchen. I'm not gonna buy everything. I'm definitely not gonna do that. I'm not that girl. I'm gonna try to use whatever I have. And another favorite use of this is pancakes. Guys, my pancakes are always shaped like the weirdest shapes. You don't understand. And I'm just like, how are people getting perfect pancakes? So finally, and everyone knows I love making pancakes, and I make really, really good pancakes. My friends will tell you, but it doesn't help if it's gonna taste good and it looks horrible. Because you know I love to take me some pictures of my food, and then these things are not coming out. So these babies are going to be used so much and are being used so much. These are called egg rings. Just said these babies. Egg rings are number 9. And I just want to show you, if it's sitting in a pan, this should stay up, because when you need to, you pull this up and then you're gone, and it's not hot like the rest of the ring. So yeah, these are pretty helpful. I thought these were actually a bit expensive for what they are, really. I paid 100 Rand for these at Mr. Price Home. So yeah, I wasn't impressed, but I was desperate. I'd been looking for them for a while actually, so I took them. The last item is non-stick pans have saved our lives in general. But if you have still not invested in one, please do, and get a pretty good quality one. I got this probably for maybe 129 or something at Game. Look, it's lasted me honestly a couple of years, so for that amount of money I will give it a thumbs up. But I promise you, you might not see it well, but it has had its fun in the sun. And no guys, I don't scrape my non-stick like pan with what's that thing, Scara. I don't, but I mean, like I said, I've had it for a couple of years. It's bound to get a few scratches on it. I remember growing up making eggs and trying to make a sunny side up egg in a normal pan, and how it would always get stuck to the bottom. That does not happen anymore. And guys, as mentioned, this is quite old. I'm actually in the market for a new one. However, I do not want to buy one this cheap again. I think I deserve a really fancy one. And by fancy, I'm not sure I'm willing to go all the way to Smack, guys. Like, please respect me and my pocket. Please give me suggestions of really good non-stick pans that are not that expensive. I want it to be nice, but I don't want it to like break the bank, okay? So yeah, I would love to see your suggestions. What are you using? What do you like? Maybe I might get myself one of those. Guys, that was the last one. Thank you for watching my video. I am so glad I got to try something different. I actually quite enjoyed it. Until next time, please do subscribe if you haven't. Please, please, please do. And turn on those notifications. I want you to know every time I post a video. And lastly, do follow me on Instagram. My handle is Kholiwe_cooks. Until next time.